Hi, hello, good evening, and welcome to NSG News here from our luxurious studios here in Accra, Ghana. I'm here. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and it's Wednesday, the 17th day of September 2025. And this is Pulse of the Week, the midweek edition with Kofi Asante Mensah. Just in a breather, I'll be sharing with you our news updates, and then we'll settle down for intellectual discussion. Please stay with me. I'll be right back.
A whole new beginning. Get used to it. I have stepped into my new beginning. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday of darkness is gone. A whole new beginning. Get used to it. I've stepped into my new level. See me watching me flying on eagle's wing. A whole new beginning. A new beginning.
All right, so welcome back. And this week, with respect to our headlines or news update, we will be talking about the justice system. We'll talk about accountability series. We would also look at the economy, civic actions, and what have you. We'll talk about governance and democracy because today there was an event here in Accra where former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, has been leading the cause for democracy dialogue. We'll be talking more about it over here. We'll also be talking about the incident at Tamale, where students of Tamale also went on a little bit of rampage and they had a clash with the police. But first, let's begin on governance and development, because President John Dramani Mahama has broken ground for the nationwide Big Push Initiative Construction Project, a move expected to boost infrastructure across Ghana. This is John Dramani Mahama at the event of the Big Push Initiative all the way in the Volta region of the Republic of Ghana. All right, so that's President John Dramani Mahama. We'll move on to some democracy stories, because President John Dramani Mahama has emphasized the critical importance of protecting democracy in Ghana and throughout Africa, addressing an audience of political leaders, civic society groups, and international stakeholders at the 2025 Democracy Dialogue. The president praised Ghana's progress since 1992, while issuing sobering warning about the challenges threatening democratic stability in Africa. President John Dramani Mahama celebrated Ghana's long-standing reputation as a beacon of democracy on the continent, highlighting the country's record of peaceful transitions, a vibrant media, and resilient civil society. And pictures are on your screen. You can see, organized by Goodluck Jonathan, and he organized this I think it's the first of its kind, 2025 Democracy Dialogue. I must say we'll be having a lot of chat and discussion on this very subject this evening and even on Friday, because the CDD is also up with some high costs of political campaign, which is also related to democracy. Do we always talk about democracy? And when we talk about democracy, then we are just looking at one leg of the democracy, which has to do with election. What is democracy? We'll be asking some political science lecturers this evening to find answers to all of these questions. Let's move on to some legal stories tonight. Because the Ghana Bar Association's annual conference is underway, generating heated outcomes or fallout on the role of law and justice in Ghana's democracy. And here are some few videos we gathered for you from the northern part of our country as the Ghana Bar Association continues with its bar conference. All right, so we'll have that video for you pretty shortly. Let's do some economic stories, because there's a threat for fuel to be increased. Fuel prices are up again, this time by 6%, raising fresh concerns about cost of living pressures on Ghanaians. We know some OMCs are waiting, they are monitoring around before they do the increment. So those of us who buy fuel, we can feel the pinch already. If the report is ready, we can just have a look at how it's been reported. All right, so we'll gather that very report also for you. Let's do some more stories for you here on NSG News Updates. In Polls of the Week, Wednesday edition or midweek edition, today is 17th September 2025. And from our Accra studios, wherever you are watching us from, we say thank you and keep watching. You can share the link with others and like our page. Please check out our website, www.nsgnews.com. nsgnews.com. Follow us on all our social media platforms. In Kumasi, thousands gathered to bid farewell to the late Asante Hema, marking a solemn moment in Ashanti tradition. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow will be the climax of that week-long event. And we know the overlord of the Ashanti Kingdom, Asante Hene's Queen Mother, Asante Hema, is demised, and 1 week has been set aside to pursue funeral or bid her farewell. And the grand ceremony is tomorrow. And you have to watch this video because it was such a colorful, traditional, and cultural event. what a colorful ceremony in Ashanti region. Quite unfortunate we can't be there, but our fans and our family in the Ashanti region, please, we are with you in the spirit. Let this be very peaceful as we find a lasting place for our Queen Mother. Now we do some mining stories, because on the fight against Galamsey, the coalition against illegal mining, now they call themselves the Ghana Coalition Against Illegal Mining, held a press conference, and this is what they have to say. When I finish with that, I'll tell you what the presidency have also been saying. And this press conference came in line with what President John Dramani Mahama said at the media encounter, in line with calling for the state of emergency. We will be finding out if there is a justification for that call of the state of emergency. Right, let's watch the press conference as organized by the Ghana Coalition Against Illegal Mining.
In the following demands of government in response to the president's statement on deploying a state of emergency as last resort. 1. By Article 31(9)(a) and (b), the circumstances under which a state of emergency may be declared include the current Galamsey situation, in which the actions being taken by the environmental criminals are calculated to deprive large communities of potable water, which is an essential of life. It also renders necessary the taking of measures which are required for securing the public safety, the defense of Ghana, and the maintenance of public order, and of supplies and essentials to the life of the community. This text I have written did not come from anywhere. We are paraphrasing actually a constitutional provision. We are beyond the last resort. And His Excellency, Mr. President, please, you should immediately declare a state of emergency. And again, we are very clear about it, in parts of the country, not in all of the country, not in the entire district, but in parts of the country that are required to save Ghanaians as prescribed by the Constitution. A Constitution you have agreed to uphold. The President must provide the nation with milestones and timelines to serve as a guide for continued action and demonstration of the government's.
All right, so that was the leader. First, it began as Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Now we have a lot of organizations in there, and we are also part of it. And we call ourselves the Ghana Coalition Against Illegal Mining. So, led by Dr. Ken Ashigbe, he led that very press conference. Meanwhile, government has announced that soldiers will permanently guard 44 hotspots and water bodies in the battle to curb illegal mining in the country. So we are asking, are we at that last resort when state of emergency will be announced? Well, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye has answers to this. All right, so I'm going to get you that Felix Ofosu-Kwakye's video pretty shortly. But the key thing is that he's saying we'll be asking our guests online when we get into the discussion part. 44 hotspots. Okay, Felix is ready. Let's have Felix.
Unions wanted to go on strike on President Akufo-Addo. They took a lot of negotiation to get them not to. Your party enjoyed from that anger from the public, and it would be part of the reasons you got the huge votes or the huge number of votes you got at the polls. You have come around and you appear to be pussyfooting on the issue of Galamsey. Declare state of emergency so that there will be sanity before we move back into there. And you are saying that you will not do it. The Catholic Bishops' Conference issued a statement today. They are saying that do what is right, and what is right is calling for a state of emergency, among other steps that you should take in dealing with Galamsey. Is it the case that you have seen the Galamsey problem now, and you are either benefiting from it or you are scared of it, so you are not acting?
Well, Mario, let me indicate that the Catholic Bishops' Conference and all other sections of the Ghanaian population who have commented on Galamsey are right to demand action from government. Indeed, Galamsey has been a major issue for the better part of 15 years now. And the previous government completely failed to address it. I have said it and I'll repeat it. That government was complicit in Galamsey. Their party hierarchy was involved. Indeed, Professor Frimpong Boateng, who they themselves chose to lead the fight, has a report which is damning and shows the involvement of government officials, party officials. He has gone on record to have said that Galamsey was a major source of financing for the new patriotic party. So it was little wonder that they were not interested in fighting it.
And
That is not the same.
that's why they
no,
lost the election.
Absolutely. And Ghanaians were right to throw them out in the manner that they did. The Ghanaians showed righteous indignation. And it is right that they did so. Ghanaians are right to demand action from this government. We are alive to that responsibility. Since we've been in power, we've done a number of things. So if you want to see whether the situation has improved or it has worsened, you need to look at the hard cold facts. What were the facts? When we came into power in January 2025, an assessment showed that as of that time, there were 288 forest reserves.
But welcome back. It's still NSG News Update here on Pulse of the Week, the midweek edition. I am Kofi Asante Mensah. We'll get on Zoom. I have some few stories to share with you as we go on with our interview with our experts. I'll be sharing more with you. Welcome. Let's go on Zoom now because we are firstly discussing something relating to security and civic protests and actions, because all the way in Tamale, some students took to the streets and demonstrated. They got clashed with the police, and it wasn't an interesting thing to behold. So we'll get on Zoom to welcome our guest. Our guest is Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, security expert. Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, good evening. Good to have you this evening, sir.
Good evening. Always a pleasure to be with you, sir.
Thank you very much. And let's get straight into our discussion this very evening. This evening, we are looking at how we can solve some security-related problems in our community relating to the Galamsey fight and also some clashes we heard about in the Tamale part of our country. Please, let's begin with the call for state of emergency. Do you think the Coalition for Illegal Mining are justified to make this call?
I think the closest we came to tackling the Galamsey menace was when Honorable Peter Amewu was Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. At that time, the verve and gusto coming from media practitioners like you, the rest of civil society organization, the rest of the Ghanaian population. At some point, there was even talk that if Ghana didn't do something immediately about Galamsey, Ghana would have to be importing portable water from outside the country. That was how puffed up and mobilized the whole nation was in the time of Honorable Peter Amewu. And at some point, people were arguing he was the most popular and most effective minister at that time. Years down the line, we are back to square one, if not worse. At that time, there was talk of a Galam Stop operation, many other Calm Life, many other operations, and that considered illegal mining as one of the priorities for us as a country. So unfortunately, some virgin areas, forests that had hitherto never seen the activities of Galamseyers, unfortunately fell prey. And during the second half of the former government, things went actually haywire. And I think the current government really benefited from the hue and cry and the accusation that the former government wasn't doing enough to tackle the menace. 8 months down the line, we are not singing a different chorus, so we are not singing from a different hymn book. It looks like things are worsening, and rivers that were presented to us as turning into tea or anything like that to warrant the change of government, those rivers have not become crystal clear. So I think it's a wake-up call. I don't think we should throw our hands into the air out of indignation and desperation, we can still salvage the situation. Do you really need a state of emergency to tackle this? I think just make it a #1 national security priority. Let the results on the ground speak for themselves. Unfortunately, it was during one of those outdoor events to talk about doing illegal mining right that we lost the defense minister, the environment minister, as well as other statesmen. So we have blue water, many initiatives that are coming in between time. But Senior Kofi Asante, I believe the proof of the pudding is in the eating. It's no more about rhetoric. Let's see results on the ground, which results I believe will be testified to by the villagers who live on the banks of these rivers, by the villagers who went to rescue, made an attempt to rescue the victims of the helicopter crash. Their livelihoods don't show any prosperity. Takwa, Prestia, the Manso area within the Ashanti region, they are amongst the least developed areas, even though they are amongst the most resource rich. So sometimes it takes only a year to lose goodwill from the populace. But I think a government that came to power with a vote difference of over 1.5 million should still be given the benefit of the doubt. And I believe we'll do the right things so that the mandate of the people to get Galamsey tackled once and for all will not be denied and will not be betrayed.
Do you see that they are losing the goodwill of the public?
Goodwill is wearing thin as the months wear on. And I believe the earlier something was done, the better it will be for the reputation and the image of our new government. By and large, I believe the government is doing well. It has taken care of nuisance taxes. Inflation is at an all-time low in the past few years. Frugality and lack of ostentatiousness and lack of, spending has been the hallmark of this government. Austerism is always welcomed by the good people of Ghana. And so don't allow other issues like ethnic violence, inertia, and lethargy in the fight against Galamsey, where there's goodwill thing coming from the good people of Ghana. President Akufo-Addo came into office in January 2017 as one of our most popular presidents, and we saw what happened. The anger from the Ghanaian people because they felt not enough was being done to tackle the menace of Galamsey. And the handlers of the current president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I believe will be minded by that lesson to keep reminding the president, keep doing what he instructs that it gets done so that immediately our rivers will turn clean and immediately our forest reserves will be protected. If not, a year from now when we sit like this, God willing, unfortunately, that goodwill may not be as intact as it is today.
I just got this very indication from Imani Ghana. There's a survey in the report they made. I'm trying to open it to read portions of it, but they are really saying the goodwill for President John Dramani Mahama is eroding. Just a portion of it. A new assessment by Imani Africa on the first 6 months of President John Dramani Mahama's administration has found that the initial goodwill surrounding his resetting Ghana agenda has been eroded by mounting controversies and perceived inconsistencies in governance. According to the report, the January 2025 inauguration of the NDC government generated strong positive sentiment with cost-cutting measures and anti-corruption initiatives receiving cautions from public approval. And it says, however, by March, criticism dubbed Terminator 1 on social media began to dominate the conversation, driven by mass dismissals across public institutions. The think tank further observed that a private jet controversy and allegations of selective justice deepened public skepticism. And these are a few things it has mentioned. Selective justice, private jet controversy, and what they call Terminator 1. So just within 3 months, goodwill gone,
Usually,
according to,
the
yes.
things that have been catalogued by Imani Africa, these are things that continue to be ghosts and that are in the shadows of every new government. And usually, the judiciary, as one of the arms of government, feels the fall of the anvil of the executive when the Chief Justice has been given a boot, when there has been a complete reshuffle, so to speak, of justices who sit on various cases. Certainly, it is very difficult to hang on to such popularity because people would definitely accuse any new government of selectivity. And again, there are hawks in every political party. And if you look at our political cycle, for all parties that are in opposition for 8 years, extreme voices become front, center, and whatever within the political party, and they become very vociferous. So you saw in 2016 the loud voices that were calling for intransigence, and recently in 2024 we saw people say, if you hear K, you hear Keke. If we hear Keke, you hear Keke, all indicative of people's preparedness to resort to arms if things didn't go their way or if they perceived there was any foul play in the electoral process. And so it's like an army that has lost a few battles and then it comes up with a roar. It comes back with a roar. So usually people are disgraced and embarrassed. Their homes are marauded, they are stopped midway, their vehicles are taken, pretty much the things we saw in early 2017. But Kofi Asante, our politicians never learn. They never do. This tit for tat is one of the reasons, just as Imani Africa has indicated. So the perception of selectivity in the administration of justice usually, I think, comes from the extreme voices that say that, don't you remember what they did to us? So let's use the courts to show them where power lies. And I think both the NDC and the M people have not been able to navigate that properly to keep the goodwill of the people. And again, the status of the president's travels should be kept classified until necessary. In a few days, we'll go to the UN General Assembly. Why would you come on radio and television? Why would you come on social media and want to discuss what aircraft is the president going to use? You're opening the president up to risks, to dangers. And so when there was that huge, call for the president to cut down on expenditure, why weren't we using an already existing airplane and all that? For some of us, we felt people had gone to the extreme. But who are you? Somebody sitting on the fringe. You're not a card-bearer member of the NDC or the MPP to say that in terms of security, it doesn't matter how much it's spent. Can you imagine if our current president was there or was on the helicopter that crashed recently? The national crisis we would have had on our hands. So much as we call for transparency and accountability, defense expenditure sometimes is not meant for discussions on radio. The travels of the president sometimes are not meant for public scrutiny. So therefore, it is important that we situate what happened in the former regime and what is happening in the current government. That is why, as Imani Africa has indicated, there seems to be no love lost between the populace who overwhelmingly voted for this party and what is happening currently. And on Galamsey, which is the focus of our discussion. Look, Kofi Asante, I believe when Nanado said he was ready to put his presidency on the line to tackle Galamsey, that was a far-reaching statement. Whether he kept his word or not, posterity will judge. And I believe the goodwill His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is enjoying currently will largely depend on the economy and will largely depend on how he faces the bull by the horns. And then, whatever, even if it has to be a cliffhanger for him to take such tough decisions to make sure that our water bodies are clean and our forests are protected. That is the only thing that
from
will
the
go
body
along.
language, Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, from the body language of the president during the media encounter and answering the question from Kojo Yangson, Joy News Kojo Yangson, and the Super Morning Show, do you see that this president, John Dramani Mahama, is really ready to combat this to the end of it and seeing this to the end of it?
I want to give the president the benefit of the doubt. I'm an optimist, and whatever happens, I believe that the president is well-intentioned. The things that were said in the manifesto were not meant for the gallery, I want to believe. And therefore, Gafili Gadochi, it's like saying you can ride a horse. So people should give you the mandate. You've been given a horse and then there is a field. Feel free and implement the promises, the lever on the goodies and the tangibles you promised the good people of Ghana. And I want to believe that sometimes those who sit at the top usually are given maybe wrong briefings. I just want to be charitable to say that His Excellency is not out there on River Pearl. He's not out there in our forests. He's going to rely on his lieutenants who are supposed to be tackling these issues frontally. In some countries, some presidents may go out of their way to privately go and cross-check, but that is risky for your own personal security as commander-in-chief. So everything the president does or says about Galamsey has to be choreographed. His move to any site has to be choreographed. Things have to be put right before he comes and all that. So it becomes very difficult to blame the president as an individual when things go wrong in the fight against Galamsey. So I believe that at some point, whatever briefing national security gives, whatever briefing the Lands and Natural Resources Minister gives, whatever briefing the Minister for Environment, Science and whatever gives, I believe that there should be sincerity in the updates they give the president. And where the president deems it necessary, private citizens, private civilians may be contracted in private to be able to tell. For people who are farmers, certainly they have access to the forest and they can nose around and tell if people are complicit in the Galamsey menace. For people who are fishermen along a long coast, they know when people are still using champagnes and other forms of implements on our river bodies. So I would say that His Excellency President Mahama is well-intentioned in the fight against Galamsey, but I would say he shouldn't rely only on the formal, narrative, formal briefing that comes from his lieutenants. There should be other ways of cross-checking so that when somebody doesn't perform to the satisfaction of the press, what Ghanaians are waiting for, I believe right now, is that if the president sees that the fight against Galamsey is failing, he should kick some butts. We should wake up one morning, a certain minister has been fired by the president. The president is so angry that it's been 8 months, it's been a year. I gave you the mandate to tackle this. My people, the good people of Ghana, are reporting something different to me. So I want to change you to bring in somebody else. So, it's like a father at home. When you have a delinquent son and you take some action, at least the family knows that you are doing something about it. But if you hear evil and see no evil, hear no evil and see no evil, and the good people of Ghana are seeing the devastation that is being caused to our water bodies and our forests, and I'm sorry, that will chip away at the goodwill that the president, His Excellency, is enjoying from the people currently.
Director of Communication at the Presidency, Felix Kwache Ofosu, is up again with another, if you like, policy on anti-Galamsey or illegal mining. Before I chip in that, since the inception of this new administration, John Dramani Mahama, on the fight against illegal mining, they tell us some 44 forest reserves were kind of no-go area. They have about 9 were no-go area. Yes, they have been able to retrieve all these 9 from the activities of illegal mining, and people who criminally were mining at that place. They have initiated what they call the Blue Water Guards system. They have attempted to repeal that LI. John Mahama himself says at the media encounter that he has not issued one license for mining in this country. The new one from Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, is that we are going to have some 44 military personnel to guard this or these forest reserves 24/7, and they'll be permanently over there. The question is, how successful would this be? Because we have seen military officers being compromised before.
The piecemeal trickle of information, for me, with all due respect, regardless of who is saying or who is doing managing that, you see, just give results. Just give results. It's like boys sitting at a base. You say, my people, don't worry about lunch. Don't worry about lunch. You keep telling us, I may arrange a buffet. It's all talk. Let's see some action. Bring some food onto the table. Actions speak louder than words. And I don't think these minute pieces of information are necessary. How many soldiers we are deploying, how many people are part of Blue Water Gate. Keep them classified. The results will speak for themselves. So I think we are being too, I don't want to say petty, we are being too detailed when in fact the eye of the storm has actually not been tackled. When you want to carry out a military operation, do you come to the public and say, this is a number, we are taking a whole brigade or we are taking a division? So it means we are giving clues to the people on the other side of the spectrum, the other end of the spectrum. So let your actions speak. Come up with FOBs, forward operating bases. Don't tell the Ghanaian public where those FOBs are. Don't take the media for a tour of those FOBs. Use drones if you don't have the technology. Enlist technology from elsewhere. You don't need soldiers to be in our forest 24/7 to tackle Galamsey. There's technology to do surveillance and reconnaissance.
Do we have those technologies?
If you don't have, you can go onto the international marketplace of international security. They are not preserves of one country. Countries are ready. That is why they are military expos. People want to exhibit what technology they have, what state-of-the-art technology they have. And drone technology has come of age. With a few drones, you can tackle a huge expanse of our forests and regions.
You just mentioned it right there, because I was just coming to ask about the drones. I mean, the previous administration, I think we procured some drones to do all of this monitoring on our water and river bodies, and we never saw where the drones went.
Kofi, the same thing. Don't keep giving us updates. Let the results speak for themselves. Sure. I think we are giving too many updates, with all due respect. We had too many updates in the time of the former government. We are getting saturated and inundated with updates from this current government as well. Let the results speak for themselves. How many soldiers you are taking into the forest, how many operatives you are embedding in the communities. You don't even have to tell people. You have plainclothes people who are serving at farmers, but they are intelligence people. Get people out there. And in 6 months, Kojo, if we are really sincere about the fight against Galamsey, I think Ghana has the wherewithal. The president and his government currently have the goodwill from the people to get all the support they need to be able to tackle this menace once and for all.
Now, I want you to watch this video, and I pose a question to you.
Police are shooting students. Police are shooting students.
So my name is Mahmoud Musa. I am the SRC Public Relations Officer. This morning, the Students Representative Council, as well as the graduate students, are hitting on the street to demand accountability from management, to demand developmental projects from management. For over the years, students have paid their school fees. If you take the school fee structure, there are components that are being allocated to it, which one of them is developmental levy. Students have paid for the past years without any developmental project in this particular university that's been championed by the university. Again, sanitation is one of the things that students face so much. Open defecation on campus is at alarming rate as we speak at the moment. Students, there is no proper washrooms. The washroom that we are having, they have not been kept properly, and because of that, students are forced to use the bush instead of using the washroom. The stench that is coming out, lectures sometimes we forced to close. Lecture halls that are close to washrooms, we are forced to close early lectures because of the stench that normally comes from it. We are saying that we don't deserve this as a university. Why must we pay fees? And all these components are captured there, and then this is what is happening. That is why we are saying that we will not agree to it. There is medical examination that level hundreds will normally pay. You can ask my colleague there.
Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, what's your reaction to this?
I think our students, especially those in the second cycle in tertiary institutions, are the future of this country. We need to give them the very best of tuition, the very best of accommodation, the very best of healthcare, and all that they need, so that they can study and become the Kwame Nkrumahs of tomorrow, the J.B. Dankwes of tomorrow. They can be the forebears, the Mensa Sabas of tomorrow, and all that. We hear very fond stories about how university life was in the past, Kofi Asante. Very, very fond stories.
I was mentioning that they will be the Ibad Ibrahims of tomorrow.
Yes. But we continue to engage. We engage the student, fraternity. We engage sometime next month, God willing. I'm going to address a student, award event. I'm going to be a guest. I was chairperson for the reconstitution of the Board of Governors of Odogono Senior High School recently and all that. So we continue to engage. And I believe that it is important that the student representation on campus, they have their own form of student parliament. They have, various things that prepare them for the future, actually, Kofi Asante. So therefore, I believe that it is important that we provide them with all the tools they need to get the proper academic development and preparedness to serve the Republic of Ghana. And so for them to ask for an itemization of what is spent on what from the body of money they pay, I believe shouldn't have resulted in the injuries we are seeing. But to be fair to the school authorities and also be fair to our security agencies, you don't easily use tear gas until you are almost getting run over, you are getting overwhelmed. So what was the mobilization on campus about? And what are the precautions we are taking as a country to prevent some of those? In recent times, we see people who fall within the bracket of Gen Zs burn down parliament houses. In Burkina Faso, we saw that. In Nepal recently, we saw the toppling of the government by Gen Zs and the excesses that happened in some cases. So we are all angry as young adults sometimes about the way things are done, Sometimes we feel exploited, and sometimes we feel extorted by some of the fees we pay here and there. But I believe going forward, now that the flames of tension have been doused on campus, going forward, management, faculty, and then staff and students of Tamale Technical University can sit around the negotiating table where government has to intervene to bear part of the cost, where the various inspectorates have to come in to make sure that if students are paying 2,000, these are the amenities they require. If they are paying 3,000, 4,000, these are the facilities they should have. There should be inspection and monitoring to make sure that they are getting their money's worth. So I think it's a holistic thing. Already there are some acts of vandalism in secondary schools. Now we are seeing in a technical university, we don't know where it will go next. So I want to sit on the fence on this issue. I'm not on the ground. I don't have the full facts, apart from snippets of information and excerpts of videos that have come out of and then reports that have come out of the ground or the area or the theater. So I want to say, let's tread cautiously. And the students should engage. Sometimes dealing with management and faculty can be annoying. You may go for meetings and you are not seeing any change. And the leadership of the student groups will also be under pressure from their colleagues.
That's very true. We haven't had any communique from their meeting yesterday, because yesterday immediately the issue broke. They went into conclave and decided to have an emergency meeting. School officials and security couples, they held a meeting. I haven't read any communique from the Tamale Technical University, but help me assess these two behaviors from the security officials, the police officials over there, and also from the students' body, the behavior they put up, the way some security officials were knocking people, shipping some people, want to cut people down, and the way the kids were also burning ties and behaving over there. What will be your assessment?
I don't want to say, one of our former interior ministers after a by-election said violence begets violence. I don't want to repeat that, but it's like somebody who comes to complain to you that his rights have been trampled upon. The question is, did you also keep your responsibilities? Did the students act within the ambits of decorum in seeking redress? That's also a question we need to ask the students. So we can't be one-sided on this issue. There are many other technical universities in the country. Why are we not witnessing scenes like these? So, as I said, we call for patience on all sides. We know that times are hard. Guardians, custodians, guardians and parents go through a lot to pay these exorbitant fees. Hostel fees are skyrocketing. Sometimes the fees people pay to just live close to campus or on campus, those fees are unthinkable. Maybe this is a reflection of the larger disenchantment within the student body. But is this the right way to address it? I think there could be more decorous and more civil ways of tackling these things. So I want to believe that eventually, when the investigation is done, we'll know the extent to which the police were convinced to use what we call minimum force, but the kicking I'm seeing on your screens cannot be described as a minimum use of force. So therefore, and there were excesses on the part of the students as well, the burning of car tires and all of that added to the combustible mix. That gave us this unfortunate outcome. So I don't want to say the police will need retraining on how to handle mob action, students, crowds, and all that. I want to believe that, police training academies already teach those. To also be fair, what was the first line of response from the university? Did the university have private security on campus that was overwhelmed to warrant calling for a backup from the Ghana Police Service and all? They are unanswered questions, actually, Kofi Asante. So let's not shut the the staple after the horse has bolted, so to speak. So let's take our time. Let's not be ahead of ourselves. Let's not put the horse and the cart before the horse, so that we will be able to get the holistic report about what went down. Then we can make really concrete recommendations, but off the cuff. We call for calm. We call for the use of diplomacy. We call for negotiations where the school fees has to be returned to its former status to bring calm on campus. We call for that. And I believe that going forward, there should be very civil, peaceful, and diplomatic channels for students to register their displeasure with some of the policy decisions that are taken on campus, so that Tamale and Accra Technical University don't make it to the news for one of these bad reasons.
A very big thank you to you. But we'll come back to you on Friday. Hopefully by then we might have some few investigative report from the school or from the police or from the investigation that will be conducted by officials. Then we can interrogate it much better. This evening, we are grateful to you, Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, security expert. God bless you.
You're most welcome as always, Senior. Thank you for having me.
This is Pulse of the Week, the midweek edition, and we have been interacting with Mr. Ibad Ibrahim, security expert, on the Tamale issues and also the fight against illegal mining, where Felix Okwachofosu says some military officials will be sent to 44 hotspots to be able to monitor permanently and protect those bodies, water bodies and forest zones and what have you. Just after this breather, we have more for you. Please stay. All right, so you welcome back, and this is how we would be drawing the curtains down here on Pulse of the Week. But I must update you on some few news stories before we go, because the new Patriotic Party, you know Abronye? Yes, Abronye. He has been granted bail, 50,000 Ghana cedis, and yes, still, the new Patriotic Party says they would go ahead with the planned demonstration. And I must say, there will be a lot of demonstrations within next week, because Fix the Country people are also planning for a 21st September demonstration, again, all about illegal mining. But let's talk about Abronye and Abronye's issue. If the video is very much ready, we can pick that one up. All right, so we'll get into that very video, but it is very important to note that the NPP Youth Wing says they will be going ahead with the protest. I think that one is on 23rd of September, but Fix the Country illegal mining protest is on 21st of September, and we will all be a part of it, because we are inundated with poison. What we are drinking, we are not aware. The heavy metals in there. What we are eating, we are not aware of the heavy metals in it. And still talking about protests, CMB takeover protest, where some traders and market women, drivers and what have you, demonstrated of a planned takeover of their land. The land they have been on it for several years. I think they said since 1982 thereabout, they have been on that very land. If government is ready to sell that land, the occupant of that land for so many years, over 30 to 40 years, it should be considered first. Why do you sell it to Dasebre? It's a chief in the eastern region who has bought that very land, and they are very unhappy about it, and they have been rampaging about it and demonstrating about it. Also in Boom, residents are demonstrating over roads, bad road networks, and also water crisis all the way in Boom here in Accra. People are talking about water crisis already. bad network of roads. There you have it. These are pictures of that very demonstration protest of the Kpong and the CMB takeover protest. We have all of this for you here on NSG News Updates on Pulse of the Week, midweek edition. I think we can take a good look and listen to this. I love the way this woman, how she spoke. I fell in love with the way she spoke so much. And I think if we are ready, let's pick that very video.
Built a whole 3 cluster story buildings, and then this year we are there. We've not said anything. He has come back to say he's claiming the second land that we are selling on. Look at us. I've been a single parent for 20 years. I've been a single parent for 20 years. I have 4 kids taken care of, 3 boys and a girl. My last one is in Legon, level 300. My brother, my first son completed tech and is still at home not working. He is not working because I have no connection anywhere. Me myself, I have certificates. I have no one to employ me because my father has no connections. Look at us. This is our source of livelihood. And this very man wants to take our happiness. He wants to take our source of livelihood. What does he want us to do? Are we not Ghanaians? The government should ask us. We are asking the government. We are asking the ministers. We are asking Ghanaians. We are asking, are we not, even if we are market women, are we not Ghanaians? We are educated. Some of us, if we have connections in government, we would have been working with the white, we have a white collar job to do. But for we not having people to support us in our whatever we do, we have to go to the market, put our certificates down somewhere. Me, I am close to my 60s. I'm 51. I have just 9 years to complete from active service, so I cannot go back to the white collar job. So this is what I'll do to feed my kids. Just recently, we were there when the...
All right, so I think I love this so much. We have to pay attention to what they were really saying. And some news from the accountability series where the Minister for Foreign Affairs, I think the Transport and Foreign Affairs this week, today is Wednesday, they have already been at the Jubilee House for the accountability series. And I would first want to begin with Mr. or Honorable Okujato Ablako, our Foreign Minister, who says no more middlemen and Goro boys. Yes, he spoke about a lot of things. Just take a look at this.
As Passport Administration. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to report that the recent reforms undertaken by my ministry in respect of Passport Administration have already begun yielding significant results. As part of our digital transformation agenda, the ministry successfully rolled out the chip-embedded passports on the 28th of April 2025, placing Ghana among the African countries to implement this internationally compliant travel document. These next-generation passports boast over 175 advanced security features, up from 32 in the previous version, and meet the highest international standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. This has drastically improved the credibility and security of Ghanaian travel documents on the global stage. We also enhance our mobile passport application service to support applicants with limited mobility, starting with a specialized deployment to assist this year's Hajj pilgrims, a demonstration of our commitment to inclusive service delivery. Of obtaining a passport, we launched a passport home delivery system in partnership with 2 courier.
That's very good. And I understand some 200 Ghana cedis has been rebated or taken off from the cost of passport in Ghana, where it was pegged at 500 Ghana cedis. So there is it's 300 Ghana cedis. That's quite good. That's quite good. Yeah. Check out this person. When you see this person around your area, please report him to the nearest police station. Samuel JV is ready to show you who we are talking about.
The transporter and accounts officer of Rafmore called Abdul Karim. The second is Afsar Putalan, the Indian who runs a lot of the good businesses of Rafmore and was responsible for the Atakwa business and dealt directly with Abdul Razak and Benak. And then there is Sadiq Abubakar, And then there is the Chief Supremo himself, Rafiq Mohammed Nandoli, aka Salam. Other directors and shareholders of the company are also wanted. And so we are still pursuing them. And it is our hope that you, our friends in the media, and members of the general public who have information about these 4 individuals I have mentioned, will share that information about their whereabouts to assist us.
All right, so these people, please report them to the police. It's been quite, I think we can even do more of the law on Friday because the bar conference is ongoing, and today is Wednesday. By Friday, they'll be closing. But better still, let me share some few stuff with you, what the Attorney General has been saying at the bar conference. I would get Martin Pebu and also Justice Abdullahi on Friday to have a breakdown of issues at the bar conference. Take a look at this.
Undermining the very foundation of our professional credibility. We must remember that our allegiance is first and foremost to the Constitution and this Republic, not to transient political interests. Over 3 decades have passed since the adoption of our Constitution. During this period, our Republic has tested and continues to test the resilience of its democratic institutions. In doing this, the bar has played a crucial role in assisting the Supreme Court to interpret and enforce the Constitution. But outside the courtroom, the advocacy of the bar as a professional group has lacked consistency, bringing into question its adherence to principle. Ladies and gentlemen, when in 2015, an Article 146 petition was received by the Chief Justice in relation to the former chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Madame Loretta Lamte, the bar failed to speak out about process. In the run-up to the 2016 elections, the then opposition New Patriotic Party engaged the Electoral Commission in court battles over the voter identification system. This gave rise to the Abu Ramadan line of cases. Immediately upon assuming office in 2017, an Article 146 petition was filed for the removal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Charlotte Osei, and her deputies from office. The bar saw no basis to speak out about compliance with due process. But in recent times, the bar found its voice when petitions based upon the same constitutionally defined procedures were brought in respect of the removal from office of the former Chief Justice, Mrs. Gertrude Araba-Tokono. Ladies and gentlemen, the honest question we have to ask ourselves is, what changed? The 3 petitions aforementioned touch and concern office holders of 3 constitutional bodies critical to the sustenance of our democracy. The independence of the 3 institutions has been guaranteed by the Constitution. The 3 occupants were all women of significant repute and members of our noble profession. The 3 committees established pursuant to Article 146 complied with the constitutional procedure to the letter.
Right, so
and yet,
that's,
the bar found its voice.
And see Mr. Dominic Ayeni, Honorable Attorney General, and at the bar conference, all the way in the northern part of our country. And this is how we bring our midweek edition of Pulse of the Week to a close. We've been talking about civic protests, legal debates, and cultural traditions, and also security, fight against Galamsey, and what have you, democracy, dialogue, and all of that. I've been bringing you updates, something to do with big push and infrastructure, roads, and what have you. And this is how we end today, Wednesday, 17th of September. This is how we end today's session. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah. And mind you, on Friday, we'll be here to do this all over again. Thank you very much to executive producer, our producer, and our editors, and everybody from the MCR to the PCR room. Thank you, our camera crew. God bless you. And until we meet again, it has been Pulse of the Week. God bless you.
A whole new beginning. Get used to it. I have stepped into my new beginning. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday of darkness is gone. A whole new